Testing. Okay. All right. So, uh, fuck. 1 second. Okay. Uh, this is going to be just chatting kind of a stream. 1 second. My YouTube takes forever to load. Okay. I'm getting the chat really quick. Alrighty. One. I'm testing out the microphone. Okay. I think this is good. Alrighty. Uh, 1 second. Huh. That's weird. Okay. Well, I'll just do it like that then. I wonder if it'll work elsewhere. There we go. Alrighty. That's weird. It just doesn't want to do that over here. But that's fine. Okay. What I wanted to talk about tonight was basically just what's been going on in my life pretty much and where I think I'm going in the future. Um, I do find working in radio pretty interesting and intriguing. Um, I give a lot of thought to this kind of stuff as my day kind of goes on or whatever. But I've never really utilized the streams to just kind of talk. And it can be ranting, it can be kind of anything, really. um, But just over the course of like the past few months, um, I've just been feeling like this kind of intense frustration and anger with society and the world around me. And I guess this is a common experience, especially considering the fact that, COVID just fucking happened and everyone's still kind of, getting over that. Um, I don't want to like overthink with how I'm like presenting myself or anything. Um, I on my channel, what you see is what you get, pretty much, and you know, I'm trying to show myself at the good parts of my day and at the bad parts of my day. And for some reason, nighttime can always get to me for whatever reason that may be. That may just be because I am alone all the time at night. Um, with really nobody to talk to, and for the most part, I just don't want to bother people anyway, which is why I am more comfortable just being by myself in general. Um, a lot of people think that I'm at where I'm at in life because I can't really take criticism, but I don't think that's the case anymore, especially considering the fact that I spent 2 years in college and trying to learn and grow from all of that is going to be pretty interesting. And just trying to process the stress of it all turned me into an adult, I think. And I don't know. There's just crazy people who think that school isn't stressful, or that, daily life isn't stressful, and that you're fucking insane if you value yourself and give yourself breaks or time off here and there. And I'm tired of these general misconceptions about who I am as a person. Literally, like, most of the time, I'm just tired. And I have no energy to be as bad as people tend to talk about me. And that's why I'm glad I have the YouTube account anyway, is to just kind of document everything and bring it to light and, bring about a conversation, because I'm not going to get anywhere in life with just fucking rumors to go about. And, I'm just not going to get anywhere in general just by staying here in the same place every fucking hour of every day. One of the things that I kind of deal with is the fact that my bedroom is kind of like my comfort zone. And, I try to get outside as often as I can, and I try and bike and whatever, but I think I can just get too in my own head or attached to negative ways of thinking. And this can actually manifest in a crappy attitude for the rest of the day, week, or month, or, whatever I'm going through. And I don't know if what I say resonates with people. I don't know if it has value. But I hope it's a little bit more real advice than the self-help gurus that you can fucking find on your local shelf at a Barnes and Noble. If anything, I want to give you guys that kind of information for free, because I feel like it should be for free. And I think people kind of hate YouTube because of the amount of freedom that it provides. When I was growing up, I remember that you used to be considered a loser or whatever for having a YouTube account, but I disagree because it's helped me express more difficult parts of my mentality, and if I have to express something in a humorous way, then YouTube tends to be the way to do that. And with YouTube, it's like I'm really not hurting anybody for the most part. I'm literally just fucking making videos or whatever. And yeah, I can be controversial with what I can talk about, but that's how you make it interesting. Because if you just go into a story dry and bland, it's not going to get as much attention as if it was dramatized a little bit. And that's how the media works, and that's why you only see stories based around violence and hatred, and never the stories that result in peace or finding common ground with someone. Because that's the key to the division that they want to literally advertise every millisecond of every day. And we're reminded of this every day with the fucking Joe Biden presidency and the fraud administration that it has fucking perpetuated. And I'm not trying to come off as like a right-wing person or a left-wing person. I barely even know what any of that stuff really means. I'm just a humble observer to that kind of stuff, and I don't vote or anything. I typically don't really feel like it, and I just hate the concept of being forced to vote for someone that's going to inevitably put an obstacle up in your future, and it's like this undeserved obstacle, of course, because we couldn't control who the president was, and we can't really control the way in which the presidencies are going, and it's this puzzle that unfolds in the moment. And I think that's why I enjoy journalism a lot, is because it actually does somewhat take me out of my head and bring me back into the moment. Because when you're focusing on stories that are in the current events, then your mind will tend to at least get off of the past and into the now. And that way, it's easier to be just real in general and to not come off sounding like a disingenuous piece of shit. Because the only way to not sound like a disingenuous piece of shit is if you have life experience to back up your claims, your stories, and, just life experience in general can help someone understand the behaviors of most people or whatever. And forgive me if I come off as a douche or pretentious with anything that I say. I've landed in a pretty interesting circumstance when it comes to school. And if anything, that kind of vision has saved my life in a way. Because before that, I would think about all the horrible fucking shit that we would go through each and every second and every hour COVID was still an issue. And through every millisecond that I went through that, I didn't feel like anybody understood me or what I was going through at all. And that's also kind of why I went to college too, because it's like I might as well embrace that part of people too. because and you know, I get that my own head gets in my own ass sometimes, and I have to fucking pull it out, and it can be a months long process for that to happen, and to, you know, learn to laugh at the criticism that I get and to turn it into a meme rather than responding to it with childish hatred. And it's funny that I'm learning this now, and you see creators like H3 continuously failing to learn like stuff like that on a daily basis. And that's what, you know, creates the whole division in their communities too. Um, but for people like me, I feel like I'm better off as a solo act anyway. um, because that's just how I feel like my life is going. And, you know, at a certain point, you really have to think about making your own decisions and learning how to protect the decisions that you make, and learning how to argue for the decisions that you make with your life, and not to come off like as intimidating with it, but as like, you know, you have somewhat of an understanding of where you're at right now in life. Because right now, the way that I see it, I am 22, talking into a YouTube microphone, pretending there is this metaphysical audience that I am kind of talking to, and yeah. But that's just how life can work out for some people. And I'm not trying to sound like an ass with that or anything. Yeah, some people can be douchebags with the life advice that they can give out. Like, I went on a Snapchat tirade the other night about how working on yourself doesn't really make any fucking sense anymore, especially when you see the fucking way America is at these days. And, you know, personally, I'd like to find what comes after working on yourself. And, you know, we should talk about that shit instead of just, work on yourself, and just stuff like that. It's, I like, whenever I was looking for life advice, that would be the answer that I would receive. And each and every time I received the answer, I would think about it for hours and ruminate it on weeks and months, trying to decipher some kind of meaning behind what people actually mean when they say that shit. Because going to college for 2 years is a convincing factor to me that I can focus on myself, and let alone holding down a job and going through that in the middle of COVID, through all of this bullshit. It's worthy to note. It is worthy to note, because people have always considered me a kid and a coward and someone who can't really stand up for their fucking future. And I am here to like expose on the channel how illusory and how nonsensical some of these comments can be. And at the end of the day, I'm just over here laughing about it, because I mean, if you want to work out and get shredded, that is your deal. I'm just talking out of my ass right now, if I'm being honest. But it's just, it seems like arrogant advice to give somebody when they're going through a middle of a shitstorm, to be honest. But if you want to get your six-pack, I support that. And you should just get those abs. But yeah. Keep in mind, just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt because I'm literally just 22 and I'm just sitting behind a computer figuring my life out like everybody else is. And just the mere fact that I haven't fucking got a belt and hung myself from the fucking ceiling fan, that's a political statement in and of itself, I think, at this point. um, but it's ironic that I'm going for my communications degree when I'm actually shit at talking to people. And I'm willing to own up to stuff like that at this point. Because, I mean, you either learn to live with your awkwardness and your quirks and the things that actually make you you, and not the things that society says that are you. um, I don't know. Here's the thing. The stress that I'm kind of going through right now is mainly the result of the debt that I can sometimes experience. And yeah, debt is something people go through. And then when it's all said and done, when I'm through with college, um, yeah, just cause. Yeah, that's what the squallies are all about. And the squallies, we want to find solutions to these, life's annoyances and just the general obstacles people can face in life. Um, but it can just be hard to keep everything in mind, um, and to still approach it with like this empathetic kind of attitude, because I I've been tired of like being empathetic for a long fucking time. um because like I'm just tired of people not understanding where I'm coming from with my decision making, and I'm just tired of having to explain myself over and over and over again about what the fuck I actually mean when I want to move an inch upward in my life. I think that's a little bit fucking ridiculous. Um, and when the just cuz was saying I'm just going with the flow and waiting for something to happen, I feel the same way too. But it's like I do wonder what I'm waiting for to happen. I don't know if it's like the sudden realization of fulfillment, because I know you can feel more fulfillment from realizing natural things than through material purposes. And it's weird because you almost have to look at living. You have to look at living as an adult through a childlike lens to make everything a little bit more interesting, and at least a little bit more intriguing to do. Because otherwise, you'll just see everything as soulless money just being transferred between different accounts, and like that's all you'll see yourself as. And it's better to lean in more towards your soul, because I think that's what I've been trying to get at. Um, like we've forgotten this concept of a soul, and yeah, I think that we define our soul ourselves, and our soul is defined by our actions. And I don't really know if people have souls worthy of saving or not. I'm not really that kind of spiritual person. But I remember trying to learn a lot about that stuff through high school. And, through that kind of studying and trying to understand, I don't know. I don't know what I've been trying to understand, but so we are here. Now I feel like I'm gonna go on a rant about God because I can go years in my own head just kind of wondering if that kind of stuff is even real or not. And I see the Bible and the homophobia that it can sometimes perpetuate, and just the general kind of questions that I have about religion seem to go unanswered all the time. Pretty much. The only religion that somewhat makes sense to me is Buddhism, because it just seems like this simplistic kind of life philosophy to kind of follow. And I think that's the religion that's always led to the least amount of destruction. You've never really heard of like a Buddhist monk going to war, so I mean, you can prove me wrong in that, so I'm open to be proven wrong, I guess, with anything I say. And if I sound like a fucking dumbass, people can fucking tell me. And mostly I am in between semesters right now, so yeah, and the streams can help me kill some time while I'm just waiting for, whatever to happen. I've been kind of single for a while, and I just have this sinking suspicion that I'm really not going to date anybody else here. And most of the time, even when I did want to date someone, I just kind of felt forced to, or it wasn't the right time, or things just didn't work out. And when things don't work out, my brain can just kind of go fucking crazy, because it's like, what the fuck do you mean? Why isn't this happening the way that I want it to happen? And it's like, I have to stop expecting things to happen a certain way. And that kind of a lesson can take years to kind of master. And it's the same thing with mastering your own suffering. This is all shit people don't want to do, by the way. So, especially rich fucking billionaires who like to fuck little kids and, like to suck their dinglings. But that's a different stream. The only class that I'm taking this semester is my math class, and which should be pretty easy because I'm literally just gonna fucking cheat, but don't fucking tell anybody. But after all of the prerequisite shit, I am taking a year off and paying for it, and no one can say I'm not a fucking adult now. So, if you were thinking about going back to school for having a little bit of leverage in your life, I would. I did. I feel like I have a big dick now. I feel like my dick is actually, 6.5 inches instead of 6 centimeters. So these fucking people can come after me. Also, don't forget to smoke a lot of medical marijuana to calm your nerves. That really helps too. Because I can only talk about this fucking shit when I'm baked and actually have a decent conversation about it. But don't tell anybody. This is just our little secret. Not like an Epstein kind of fucking secret where you hide a government ring for however long. Like, why the fuck am I always seeing streams about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard right now? Can't YouTube be original for once? Can't YouTube learn how to fucking pump out like original material for me to look at? Because for the love of motherfucking Christ, I see 400 Amber Heard streams a millisecond. I see so much bullshit as a journalist already, and I don't even have a job as a journalist. But I'm literally talking about it on my stream, so that is fine. And people don't believe me most of the time with half the fucking stories that I say. And I get that I have weird stories because I'm a fucking writer. And yeah, I want to lean into those skills that I already have and improve upon them and build on them continuously for a prosperous future, rather than self-destruct like a weirdo on Twitter. I mean, with streaming, it's like this kind of non-toxic way of communication, I think, and it's a healthy way to put yourself out there because, it's just you in your room, and yeah, it is what it is. Don't get lost in falling into these Republican ideologies that only lead you down darker paths. I send my friend Ben Shapiro videos all the time, and he thinks I'm Republican, but for the most part, I'm literally just trying to learn how everyone works and how everyone thinks before trying to make an actual comment on it, because I feel like that's the most rational way to kind of formulate opinions. And if people think I'm lying with anything I say, they're free to fucking call me a dumbass or fucking call me a cunt and annihilate me into the fucking 7th dimension with their 5th grade roasting. So, yeah. Call me fat one more time. I was fat in elementary school, but I actually lost weight instead of fucking Wings of Redemption. So, yeah. I have those kind of stories. I just feel like it's important for my audience to know that I'm not just this weird guy who just exists in nothingness all the fucking time. I know it's good that I have a job too, and I barely talk about it because I want to keep that separate from actual interesting shit that goes on. And I don't typically talk about it because there's honestly not much to fucking talk about when it comes to the job, at least. But when I was going through high school, I remember a lot of people would kind of consider me a conspiracy theorist for what I would think about or talk about, but I'm not like these fucking weirdos who, I don't know, I just see a lot of weird shit, and it's hard to describe the weird shit that I see, but I know there's weird shit out there, and this weird shit makes me uncomfortable, and I am drawing definitive lines in the sand when it comes to bullshit nowadays, because you only live one life, and you should preserve that aspect of life at least, because having a bullshit detector is integral to your motherfucking success, Mr. Squally. And another fucking important factor is not giving a fuck and just going for it, and not giving a fuck about what anyone thinks about you or how they feel about you, and just being annoying with those facts too to the other party, I think, is fucking frustrating to them. Especially when you can blare it out on a YouTube channel. You know, it's weird that people don't want you to like shit, and they don't want you to like find hobbies, and they don't want you to find any kind of outlet for any reasonable mode of sanity, because they know their lives are insane too, but they just hide it. But I'm gonna get some fucking water. But at the end of the day, I think COVID really woke me up to the fact that there's no such thing as a good day or a bad day. And there's no such thing as a good week or a bad week. And, those kind of wake up calls are important to have, because it was just my own sensitivity that made me perceive that day or hour or moment as being good or bad. Yeah, that's how I feel. I honestly don't even know like why I had the feeling to give advice tonight, or I don't even know if I'm giving advice, but I hope it's worth something at the end of the day. I hope it's something. The fact of the matter is, I'd rather be talking here in the microphone than being some fucking deadbeat heroin addict that can't even get out of bed. So there's that. And you can get really lost in how you feel about the government when it comes to how it has this weird effect on your life as you get older, and you start to see it. And that's honestly one of the contributing factors behind why I don't want to have kids right now. Um, I just know that the courts are rigged against the males when it comes to like getting a divorce after a failed relationship, because I think those scenarios are important to consider for any conversation revolving around this stuff. Um, but I've never really been in a situation like that, because when I've experienced love or anything remotely close to it, I was quite young. And, I don't really think I understood what love was to begin with. Um, and, your idea of love changes as your life goes on. And in this weird kind of twisted way, you can learn to start loving the hate that you feel, whether you know it or not. And I hate when people say that hate is a strong word, because that's honestly the only way you can fucking describe your feelings sometimes. And that's the only way you can truly express, your disinterest in a topic or a subject or whatever. It's just like this general fuck off feeling that you can sometimes get. And don't forget to. Actually, this is a good opportunity to do something really quick. Um, 1 second.